Now let's get into some serious stuff. What we wanted to do is give you a glimpse of the great work that's been happening in the social sector. And we have a series of presentations which are curated specifically to give you a context and the possible opportunity area of AI implementation. I would like to invite Ms. Shashikala from WWF. If she could come and share her thoughts.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shashikala. I'm from WWF India, Worldwide Fund for Nature. It's an NGO which works for wildlife conservation. It started as wildlife conservation organization, but we are now working on varied fields. So basically our aim is to stop the degradation of natural resources, and man lives in harmony with nature. So that's the basic concept in which WWF works. So we were founded in 1969, and in India, this is our 50th year. So we have our offices in, I think, more than 20 states in India, and we have different project offices as well. In Karnataka, we started working in this wetland division from last 5 years, and we have tried to bring about changes. We started with like rural areas more. So we started in wetland conservation in some areas which are like peri-urban, not fully urban areas. But this year we have started with urban also. So unless we touch urban areas, it doesn't show much. So we have done a lot of work, and whenever we do, we think that stakeholder participation, community participation, and all these things are very important. But like lately we have got to know that, yeah, technology also helps a lot in wetland conservation and all the conservation activities and like whatever social activities we want to do. So technology can play a very important role, and we have like felt it many ways, many times. So that's why I'm here. So these are the places where we are working in Karnataka. So one is Madiwala wetland. If somebody is from Bangalore, they might have visited this place. It's in BTM layout. It's in South Bangalore. So that's a pretty good wetland to visit. Then we have Kokrebellur down. So it is on the way to Mysore. When you go to Mysore, many of you must have visited Rangantittu. Somebody has visited Rangantittu? Yeah, so Rangantittu, but nobody must have visited Kokrebellur. Anybody? Okay, great. I have two people who have visited Kokrebellur. So the best part of Kokrebellur is it is the only community reserve in Karnataka. So what is a community reserve? Community reserve is a place where the village or the place which is all protected. So the village is protected in itself. So the birds come there for nesting. So every season we see like thousands of pelicans and painted storks coming from Southeast Asia, and they come inside the village and they stay there for like good 2 to 3 months, and they give birth to their offsprings, and then they take them back. So that is how it is. And you can see the nests like just here, if you go and stand there, and that's like a beautiful sight to see. And the people there, they are so used to this that they will never lit firecrackers during Diwali, because they say that it will scare the birds. Even the kids there don't do that. So that is something which is like we have to learn from them. So that is the way of like they will never build the second story in their houses, because they say no, second story, birds live there. We don't have to build our second story. So they are all like, they are in sync with the nature. So that's very important about Kokrebellur. And then Kunigal is one more place where it is attached to a town, Kunigal town. And Kunigal Doddakere, they say, it's a big lake, big wetland. So drinking water is supplied to few of the Kunigal place, city. And then we have Basheteli wetland, which is ahead of Bangalore International Airport in Dodballapura town. So there is a apparel park. It's in Dodballapura industrial area. So it is like a very typical of a wetland, because one side you have industries, one side you have village. And to bring both of them together for conservation is a big thing, because industries say that villagers, they don't understand and they throw their garbage inside, and villagers will say that they are discharging their effluent into the lake. So that's a big thing. So today I'm just concentrating on Basheteli wetland. So Basheteli wetland, if you see the major threats, whenever we start any intervention in any place, we first do the situation analysis. We go around, we talk to people, we do all the maps, we see what all is the major issues. And then we got these other threats which we found, like connectivity with cascade tanks. So if you see in Bangalore as well as in Karnataka, there are like typical, all the wetlands are cascade systems. So if you touch one wetland, there will be like 2 wetlands above, 2 wetlands below. So you have to look at the wetland series, not individual wetland. So that's what we did. We did a lot of surveys with the local people as well as the agencies. Like there are many agencies, there are KIADB, there are KSPCB, Pollution Control Board. So we did the survey to find out what are the channels which bring water into this wetland and why the water is not coming into it. So that was the major concern, because this lake, the major concern is this wetland, water is not coming into it. Because the catchment area is like fully developed, like there is no space for water to come inside. So then we said, okay, if the water is not coming from the catchment area, let us at least rejuvenate the channels which can bring the water into. So when we started doing that, we took the GIS and we did all the survey, and we saw the blockages, like blockages there. So we took the GIS from there and we put it in the map, and we saw like how it is blocked and you have to desilt it or whatever. So these things, so again we used some technology for that, and we got a pretty okay map of that. So, and then over extraction of groundwater, because there is no water in that wetland. And there is no other major source of water there. So the people around and the industries, they are extracting groundwater. And the groundwater has become a major business there. So whenever you go and stand there, you will see like 10 tankers going everywhere. So it's like common, because industries, they can't live without water. They need water, but they don't have water. So they have to pay a big price. And that's the reason when we spoke to many of these industries, they were like, please, we will help you in rejuvenating these wetlands. At least we'll get water without paying hefty sum of money. So that was something which we got it from there. And in biodiversity, yeah. So we never thought that we will get to see birds in such a degraded wetland. We never thought when we started. Then we started doing surveys, and we saw like pelicans, painted storks, and good number of like around 44 birds. We have already documented 44 species of birds in Basheteli. And that's a good thing for such a degraded wetland. So if it has water, so it can have like 100, 140 birds. Then solid waste dumping is one more thing, because we have seen in everywhere, even in urban area, if you see, whenever we see a land where no water is there, nothing is there, people will start making it a garbage dumping area. So that was what was happening. So we started with like bringing all the stakeholders together and forming a committee and talking to them. So like WWF, when in WWF we have like a thing that whenever we leave the project, it should be sustainable. It's not like 3 years we are there and we will do A, B, C, D things. Then once we leave, there is nothing for them to do and people don't know what to do. So we make a committee of all the stakeholders. It includes like local people and all the agencies and the NGOs, if some NGOs are working around. So we bring those people also. And then we talk to them. And then we'll make a management action plan, like we need to do A, B, C, D things. Then the people there will tell, no, I think C is more important than A. So if C is more important than A, then we let us start with C. So that's how we do it. So once it's done, so people take ownership of that activity. Like, oh, I was only the person who asked them to do this, and see, this has given results. So that way we are started working there. And now we are trying to join the cascade wetlands. There are like 5 or 6 cascade wetlands, so we are trying to join it so that water flows into it. So we had developed one more concept of wetland health assessment. So wherever we start working, so we will start with wetland health assessment. So this is important because we have to see wetlands as a holistic, holistically, ecological. So when we see that, we see the catchment health, then community perception, water quality, and then biota health. So community perceptions, many places, when we see, they'll say, we'll no use of this, like, no, this water body, this is just there. We don't know if it is useful or not. Then we'll tell them, okay, so you have a ground, like borewell in your house? They'll say, yeah, we have a borewell. Okay, so 20 years back, what was the, like, no? So they'll say 20 years back we used to get it like 500 meters or whatever. So now it's 1200. So why this is happening? Because water is not there. So water table is not getting recharged. So those things, they will like, oh yeah, so this is important for me to get sustained. So those things come into community perception. So we have a survey form which we go and talk to people and we tell them, like, how do you perceive this wetland? Like how this wetland is important. If it is important, even if it is important for you or not. So many of them will say, no, I don't think there is nothing in this wetland. This is just mosquito breeding ground or whatever. So we get different type of perception of people. Then catchment health, definitely catchment health, we go around and see if what is like, it's full constructed or fully degraded or there is chance of like bringing it back. And then water quality, so we do it like water analysis. We have like easy to use kit. So we can have like 14, 15 parameters at a single go. So we take that parameters, like take that box and we do the 15 parameters and we can't get the accurate in that like easy to use kit, but yeah, we get the approx, like how much is ammonia content or how much is nitrogen or dissolved oxygen or things like that. So we'll get an idea. And then biota health, yeah, definitely we'll see like birds, what all birds are seen or the fishes or whatever that. So these are few of the wetland health assessment. We first train them, the local people, and then they start doing it every month. So they will be doing it every month and we will be just observing after like maybe 6-7 months once they are trained. So there are school students, they are like community, these people, like he's from the forest department. So this is Mariwala Lake. So forest department, we did a training for them. So they do the training now. They do every month and they will just tell us that today we are going to do WHA. If you are interested, you please come and join. We are like, fine. So that's how they have taken over. So after doing this, we thought that this should go like further. Because we are doing WHA and we are getting the data, like water analysis, water health analysis data we are getting, but we are not able to use it to the maximum. Like we are not able to spread the awareness, like this wetland is polluted or we should do some interventions. So those things were missing. That's when we thought of a mobile app. So one mobile app was developed, which is basically for the wetlands and the wetland health analysis. So we will put all the information into that. Every month, if we are doing the wetland health assessment, so we will put for lake A or the wetland A, this is the parameters, or these are the birds which we saw, or these are the problems. And if you as a user, if you have that app, and if you go there, and if you see some illegal something happening, dumping happening, so you can click a picture and you can put, oh, this is happening in this lake. So we can take it over to the government agency or the machinery and tell them that, see, this is a photograph and a proof. So can you do something for this? So there is a pressure. So that's how we wanted to put the pressure. So this was the main, like, we thought the benefits of having this technology, mobile app that's sustainable. Even if we go from this project after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, so people will start using it and people will also, like, this is involving all the stakeholders. So I'll just go to, so yeah, so different users are there for this mobile app. So there are executives. So they are from the community and the government stakeholders who will upload the data into the mobile app, like water analysis report. So dissolved oxygen for month January is this, February is this, March is this. So that way they will be uploading. So they are one type of users. The second will be the general public who will retrieve the information. Because if I want to see what is the dissolved oxygen for like last 6 months in wetland A, so I can just open and just see. So that is how I get to know. And also the general users, if I go to a wetland, if I see a bird and I can't identify that bird, so I can just click the picture, upload it in that, and yeah, I'll ask the question. I can't identify this bird. So we have experts. So we will answer it like, this is this bird. It is found here, or basic things. So that is thing. And third, we want this to happen. This is right now not happening. The decision makers. So if we have an issue, like I said, dumping or sewage entering, so we want this to go to the decision maker, like BBMP or BWSSB or whatever the nodal agency which takes care of this part. So we can put pressure, like they should be the in charge, and they will say, okay, this wetland, this problem is happening. So let us go and do this conservation measures. So this is a snapshot of the mobile application. So like anybody with Android phone, it's come only for Android as of now. So this is the wetland health assessment, like physicochemical parameters, what all the parameters, pH is this much, electrical conductivity. And then this is the bird identification. So if I am a user and I go there, so it will take the GPS location and it will put the image. I'll just click and add the image, and which is this tall bird. So I will get. And then water footprint calculator. So this is inbuilt in this one. Just 2 minutes. Yeah. So water footprint calculator is there. So I can calculate my water footprint, like carbon footprint. We can also calculate your water footprint, direct, indirect. So it has like 10 easy questions. So after the end of the questions, you will get your more, like it will get red color, green color, your water footprint is okay, or you are using too much water, and how you can reduce it. So that way we have done it. So this is what we want from the technology and other perspectives, that the first thing is that data generated, it has to be under one agency. So we tried it with KLCDA, that Karnataka Lake Conservation and Development Authority, which was an umbrella agency, but now it is dissolved due to a lot of political problems and all. So right now it's Karnataka Tank Conservation and Development Authority, which has got all those powers, but there is nobody right now to give us any information about that. So maybe in few months we'll get something. And this WHA app which we have developed, we want to get some result out of it, like some management plan, some conservation initiative, like if this has ABCD problems, so let us go through this conservation, like management plan should be like this. So if we can develop something like that, this will be helpful for like everyone, for the community as well as for the wetland. And so yeah, that's all. Thank you.
So thanks, Shashikala. I think that was interesting. We're opening up for a couple of questions from the audience, if anybody's. Yeah, sure.
Trying to understand what specific ways in which you think technology would help, is it in maximizing the adoption of the app itself? Or some kinds of questions, for example, you had a bird classification question.
You're thinking of, in some sense, making the app much more functional by adding some intelligent elements in the app itself. So which specific parts, if you can talk about?
Expert, I don't think, because we have like a lot of experts who are like in this. So bird identification and all, I think we have those people, but we want this like external, like artificial intelligence or something which can process all the data and give us like, no, what can be the management plan for this. So we have ABCD things. So if we have like too much of sewage entering inside, so they can suggest like, okay, you can have a DWAT system or a root zone system to treat the effluents. So those things, and also if they can connect us to some agencies who are experts in DWAT. So those things, if we can get all these channelized, so it will be easier for these initiatives.
I see. So in a broad sense, you're saying that there are some sensors or some people's feedback that you get about the state of a wetland, and you're thinking of what interventions can we suggest.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
like basically we want to get a management plan done for that. Yeah.
So can you give, I mean, this management plan sounds very interesting. Can you give an example of what it might look like? So if you get all this data and supposing the tool were to come out with a management plan, what could be an example plan?
Okay, so so management plan, if like for example there is a wetland, which is like a lot of sewage is coming inside, like how I said, and we have got data about water quality. So we are seeing that there is a continuous inflow of sewage because of that ammonia has increased and dissolved oxygen has decreased a lot, and the lower levels like the depth area there is no oxygen. So when the depth level there is no oxygen, definitely there will be no fishes or no other aquatic organisms there. So then slowly it will die. This whole ecosystem will die. So those things, so after like 6 months or 8 months, we'll see like a continuous degradation of those things, and birds, like maybe bird numbers decreases, dwindles, or people around are not ready to take ownership of that particular area, that particular wetland. So then we can think of some interventions like in situ treatment, water treatment. Like if there is no oxygen in the lower levels, so maybe we can have some floating fountains to circulate the water and get oxygen in the lower levels. Or if the sewage is coming inside, the DWAT system. DWAT system is again the inflow point, you put some system. It's like the plants or which soak the sewage, like nutrients from the sewage. So those type of systems we can form. So those things are some of the interventions, like the management interventions, which can be done.
Yeah.
No problem.
What is the quality of GIS data, including the waterways and everything? Is there existing data from the government? Is it something that has to be manually collected, crowdsourced?
So actually maps are the only thing we get from the government agencies, like revenue map or those maps, and that also it takes like the good time to get into that, because if you go, you'll say no, this is under this department, you go and collect it from the A department, then they will say no, you go to B department. So these all things, but revenue maps are the only things which we get, those basic revenue maps. And then GIS we take Google Earth images like 20 years back, 50 years back, how it was, and we overlap all those images, and then we come up with this. So we have our in-house also like a small department which does like basic things for us. So those maps are done by them.
All right, thanks, Shashikala. I think that was an interesting session. One takeaway that I would like to bounce off with you as well. A study showed that there is going to be 17 million drones flying all over United States by 2020. Only 18 of them will ever get stuck into trees because there are no trees left in the United States. So that's another problem that we're going to solve. Jokes apart, but think about it, if we could fly a drone over this area and help her capture the information that she needs. Right, that's quite possible to the greatest level of detail today by virtue of technology. Rallis as a company actually has implemented a solution where they fly drones over crops to identify the potential pest that could infect the crop, and thus give a farmer a head start to saying this is the pesticide that you should apply to protect your crop. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.